All right, everybody. Well, welcome to the Great Discovery. This is Wednesday night training night on in March of 2025. What we're going to be covering here tonight is a little bit of the history about the Great Discovery, what we're all about, where we came from, what was the genesis of this movement that we're beginning to create that's going global. The idea is we're empowering humanity in 200 countries and territories and virtually every language on earth, taking creator content to empower humanity in places where they haven't had access to it before. And many of those learners can actually earn while they're learning. Coupling this with efficiency enhancements such as AI and some other advanced tools that we've got something that is breakthrough. But I was just on a conference with Sir Peter Bajana, and I hope I didn't pronounce that too bad, Sir Peter. But as we were talking, he asked a little bit, where did this come from? Where did all this come from? We're an e-learning platform. How did you get on this path? And I said, hey, it's funny you mentioned that because at the top of the hour, we're going to be talking about that very same topic. So I want to introduce you now to Sandra Harry, the co-CEO, the smarter, prettier one, and along with Dr. Cathy Lawson, our Chief Knowledge Officer. Now, both of these ladies are absolutely instrumental in the deployment of Six Sigma worldwide. Six Sigma is recognized as one of the top 10 business innovations, literally the last 150 years. And they were both pivotal in it, and they rolled out the Great Discovery. So I'm not going to steal any more of their thunder. I'm going to give it over to Sandra and Cathy. Hey, guys.
Well, thank you, Tim. All right, let's get my share screen up. Okay. And there we go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. As Tim said, tonight is going to be about the history of the Great Discovery. Where did it come from? How did it come to be? A lot of people think that the Great Discovery is just the e-learning platform, and there's a whole course and a whole history of how it came from Six Sigma was its beginnings. So I'm going to go back in history a little bit, and we're going to take you on that journey tonight. So it all started with a man named Dr. Michael J. Harry. And Michael is my late husband. He passed in 2017. We're coming up on the 8-year anniversary. And he was the co-creator and chief architect of Six Sigma back in the mid-'80s. So I'm going to take you through this journey. And you're wondering, how did a guy who created Six Sigma have anything to do with the Great Discovery? Well, the Great Discovery was conceived by Michael. So we'll go through the story tonight. So I'm going to take you back in time. Michael was born in a little town called Middletown, Indiana, back in 1951. Very small rural community. Went to school, but Michael didn't do so good in school. In fact, the principal called his parents in and told his parents in a nice way that Michael just wasn't that bright. And so that he needed to be vocationally guided, i.e., put into shop class. So Michael became a carpenter in Indiana. So he got out of school and he wasn't quite sure why he became a carpenter. He never really understood, what happened, but he was just basically vocationally guided. He wasn't asked what he wanted to be. He wasn't given college options, nothing. So he came out of high school and he went to work as a carpenter. Well, if many of you are familiar with the state of Indiana, it is very, very cold in the winter. And Michael said he would be driving to work in the morning and he'd drive by these office buildings with their heaters and he'd see all these people, these women and men in their suits and their ties, sitting at their desks drinking coffee and all nice and warm. And he was out driving nails at, 20 below zero in the weather. And he thought to himself, how did I get here? I don't even know how I got here. So he started to think to himself, I wasn't so good at academia. I didn't do so good in school. But you know what? This college thing sounds pretty good. Well, Michael's grades were horrible. He would rather go hunting and trapping than go to school. So he had horrible grades. Wouldn't have got into college anyway. But Ball State University had a new law that year that started. and it was called the right to fail. What it meant was that Michael could go start taking college classes regardless of what his grades were in high school. So he went to the college, he applied, and he started taking classes. Well, lo and behold, to Michael's surprise, he went to class, he listened to the instructor, took notes, read a few pages, skimmed the pages in the book, and he would ace the tests. He fell in love with school. He was an academic. He loved it. He had a great memory. He could absorb so much information and he retained it. Come to find out, Michael was a genius. He had an extremely high IQ. And so if you go back to kids that don't do well in grade schools, they're either they have learning disabilities or they're extremely bright and they're not kept busy. Michael was bored. And that's why he was always doing everything else except his schoolwork because it was boring for him. So this genius kid became a carpenter. And because he said, why am I doing this? Right? He went to school and found out he was actually a genius. So over the years, Michael went to Ball State University, and then he went on to Arizona State. My slide won't go. There we go. He went on, so he did his undergrad at Ball State University. He did his master's at Arizona. I'm sorry, Ball State University did his undergrad and his master's. He went to do a doctorate, and he got into Arizona State University to do his doctorate. So he went to Arizona and went through his doctorate program. For his thesis, he wrote what he called the logic filters, okay? And the logic filters were recognized classification, analysis, and control. Well, he went to work for Motorola's government electronics group. And he was a research scientist, and he was very happy doing his research work in his little lab, in his little white coat. Well, Motorola was about ready to go broke. Okay, the Japanese were killing them with quality, and Motorola's quality was horrible, and they had about 5 years, and they were going broke. So Bob Galvin, the chairman at the time, was looking for a solution. Another fellow named Bill Smith came up with the idea that if they could reduce defects, pagers, TVs, and things like that, at 1,800 times, 1 sigma is 1,800 times, reduce defects by 1,800 times, that they could turn Motorola around and save them. So he came up with the concept and he coined the term, but he didn't know how to make it happen. So he went to Michael because Michael had all kinds of degrees, mathematics, statistics, everything. And he told Michael the concept, and Michael put the statistics to it. So in Six Sigma, we use math and statistics and data analysis and all this. It's very heavy in that, very rigorous to become a black belt, even a green belt. So Michael put the statistics behind it, and what he came up with from his logic filters was DMAIC. Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And if we have any belts, Six Sigma belts in the house, you'll know exactly what this means. It came right from Michael's thesis that he wrote out of his doctorate program. In fact, Motorola had adopted his logic filters before Bill Smith even came up and coined the term Six Sigma. So it was a natural fit. So Motorola took off on the Six Sigma journey, and they turned Six Sigma around. In fact, Miss Cathy Lawson, Dr. Cathy Lawson, that's going to be coming up after me, was in Michael's very first black belt class at Motorola. She was a young and upcoming engineer, and that is when she got involved and fell in love with it. So they turned Motorola around. Michael wrote what they call the nature of Six Sigma. It was a white paper. It went to Bob Galvin. They accepted it. Unfortunately, Bill Smith passed of a heart attack in the cafeteria about 6 months after they started the project. So he did not get to see that come to end. But they do call Bill Smith the father of Six Sigma, and that's why Michael is known as the co-creator. He's not the creator. He never took credit for the whole thing because Bill came up with the idea. So off we go on Motorola. It was very successful. Michael was tapped on the head to take Six Sigma to the world, which he did. So Six Sigma was not just a good idea. It wasn't a fad. It was a proven process, guys. This has been going for over 40 years and still going strong. In fact, it is woven into corporations now. So it is the world's greatest performance improvement and problem-solving system, okay? And corporations all over the world use it, and they save billions and billions of dollars. It is an amazing, amazing process. It was also voted by MIT Sloan School of Business as one of the top 10 most innovative business innovations in the last 150 years. That is pretty amazing. So, but how the heck did we get from Six Sigma for businesses, big corporations, data manipulation, statistics, down to the great discovery? It was for business only. It wasn't for the individual person. So I'm gonna explain to you how that happened. So as Michael was deploying Six Sigma through his years, one of the most successful and biggest deployments that they did in the mid 90s was at General Electric. And Jack Welch was at the helm. He was the CEO of GE at the time. And so they brought in Six Sigma. Jack had heard about it. They brought it in. And after about 18 months of deploying Six Sigma, they had dropped $2.2 billion to the bottom line, accounting verifiable dollars to GE's bottom line. And Michael was sitting in Jack's office one night and they were chatting. And Michael happened to ask Jack, "Hey, Jack, what has Six Sigma done for you?" Jack replied, "It has allowed me to reach out and touch the control function of the corporation. We now know if we tweak this metric over here, the needle of business is going to go this way." And that's exactly what Six Sigma does. It is a strategy, and what we call it, the BOPE triangle, up and down, the BOPE, the business operations and of the company. And so we can wire all the metrics together, and then we can put controls in place, and we can actually touch the controls of the company. And Michael said, "Great, Jack." And then he asked Jack, "What has Six Sigma not done for you?" And Jack simply replied, "What about the other 95%? What did Jack mean by that? This is what he meant. Six Sigma touches 2 to 5% of the population of a corporation, not the general population, the population of a corporation. So it's a very small percentage of the entire population." Jack was asking, well, and at the time they only had green belts and black belts, and this was rigorous training. He was asking, couldn't we apply the principles of Six Sigma, but water it down somehow and get it to everybody? How powerful could the other 95% be? Michael said at the time, "Jack, I don't have an answer for you. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. We're making so darn much money." And Jack said, "Okay, let's do it." So on they went. GE was one of the most successful deployments. I think they saved over $8 billion in a matter of like 6 years. So extremely successful. So set that one aside, the other 95%. Then in later years, he was deploying at Ford Motor Company. And Jack Nasser was the CEO of Ford Motor Company at the time. And the slide says, after paying tens of millions of dollars to deploy Six Sigma, that's a lot of money, but it cost a lot of money back there. But look at the savings. Look at GE, over $8 billion. But anyway, Michael invited Jack to dinner one night. And Jack arrived at dinner and sat down and asked Michael, "Michael, what do I owe the pleasure of having dinner with you tonight?" Jack was a Frenchman. He was very, very eloquent. And Michael said, "You know what, Jack?" Because Michael was an old cowboy, old Arizona cowboy. Michael said, "You know what, Jack? I just want to thank you for that big fat check. It was very expensive, right?" And Jack said to him, "I would have doubled it if you could just teach us how you think." Now think about that for a minute. Just teach us how you think. So at that moment, Michael said, the major light bulb went off for him. The other 95% teach us how you think. What if he could go back and identify the cognitive roadmap that made Six Sigma so successful? What if he could identify that cognitive roadmap and get it in a form to where he could teach it to everyone? So teach it without all the math and statistics. That is the power of Six Sigma. Michael realized at that moment that Six Sigma with the math and statistics was powerful, but it was the way of thinking that was really powerful. So Michael went out on a journey and a path to uncover that cognitive roadmap. And it took him years. You always hear the saying, if you want to write a book, give me, a month. You want to write a sentence, give me 6 months. You want to write, every time you try and bring something down to a simpler form, it takes longer and longer and longer. So what Michael did is he went back through all of the Six Sigma projects that they've been involved in through the deployments. And we do projects in Six Sigma. That's how we find savings, right? And he went through and he got a group of his friends, his Six Sigma cronies, as he called them, and they would get together once a month and they would go through all of the projects and they cataloged all the projects. What were the things that made them successful? What were the things that didn't make them successful? And he started to come up and classify all this stuff. And he came up with what he called the 52 big ideas. And he had these big ideas and he had them for a long time and he couldn't quite sort out or see the path in them. And he actually told me that he woke up in the middle of the night one night and he saw what we call the proven path, and it came from those 52 big ideas. And he studied it and worked with it for so long that one night he just woke up and literally saw the proven path. And that's when he aggressively started working on the Great Discovery. And that is what Michael called the fourth generation of Six Sigma. So the first generation was back at Motorola, focused on defects. The second generation was at General Electric, focused on cost savings. And then the third generation was at DuPont, where they focused on increasing shareholder value. So the mutual benefit for everyone. The fourth generation was focused on the individual, and he called it the Great Discovery. Now, what's interesting is when we first launched the platform, we launched the Great Discovery International course. That was our first launch back in March of 2023. And we soon realized something, and I'll come to that in a second. But the Great Discovery really starts with you're changing the way you think. And it's a second order change. When I learned the Great Discovery, I learned it from Michael on the backs of napkins and as we were traveling, and he was still developing it and working on it. And it was a blessing. It was amazing that I got to see that. But I was a very successful CFO of a major corporation. I had an executive MBA and all this stuff. But when I learned the Great Discovery, it changed my world. It changed the way I approached everything in my life. And that's what the proven path will change you in this course. It's amazing. So it starts with that. But like I said, we launched the Great Discovery course in 2023. We soon realized that as people were going through the course, they needed knowledge. If I'm going to go through, take the Great Discovery course and learn the Six Sigma way of thinking, we call it that, and I want to become healthy, and one of my milestones is to learn nutrition, where do I go to learn about nutrition? Google. And so Tim came up with the idea to start the monetized e-learning global platform and make the Great Discovery Six Sigma our backbone, our flagship. And it was a beautiful, beautiful marriage and coming together. And I have to admit, at first I was like, oh my gosh, we can't do that. It's all about the Great Discovery. But I soon realized it wasn't just about the Great Discovery. It was about empowering humanity with knowledge, all knowledge. The Great Discovery is a way for us to sort all that knowledge out and work through that knowledge and use that knowledge to gain and exponentially increase our odds and success of whatever knowledge we're trying to digest. So I soon realized the benefit of it, and I couldn't get enough of it, and it's been absolutely amazing. So Cathy and I have been on this journey for quite some time. We met at the very first live pilot of the Great Discovery that Michael held back in 2009. It was the very first version, and it has been gone through several versions. And we didn't even know each other. That day we were sat at the same table, and we became not only best of friends, but just fell in love with the Great Discovery. And we both just sat there and said, this is all I want to do now. I don't want to do anything else. And so we've been working on this together since 2009. We lost Michael in 17. We continue to develop the course and make it better and better and better. So, but we're teaching it to adults, and we're very successful for adults, right? It's amazing what we're doing to help adults and learning the great discovery and the changes in their lives and their way of thinking. So we thought, if we can teach adults, why can't we teach teens the great discovery? So we did. And guess what? They loved it, and they took it, and they embraced it. And we have restraining and driving forces, and they call them their superheroes and their villains and all kinds of great stuff. So our teen program is for 13 to 18-year-old, 13 to 17-year-old, the high school years. And then we thought, well, what about the younger kids? Our children deserve better than what they get today. Where do they get their teaching? Our little ones. You see little kids, 2 years old, carrying around a cell phone watching TikTok. Is that really a good education for them? So we thought, okay, how can we get the Six Sigma way of thinking to our little ones? Okay. Now, I skipped a bit in there, right? So our little ones, we wrote the Bentley series. Now, these are for K through third grade, which is 5 to 8 years old. Okay. And the Bentley series, you guys can see them behind me. Book 6, Bentley Success is just going to print. Book Dream Treasure, Bentley's Dream Treasure and Purpose are on the platform. And we have exercise books, lesson books that go with them, and you can purchase them. Book 4, 5, and 6, Journey, Power, and Success, are going to be coming up very, very soon. So we decided to go for this younger age group and write the Bentley series, and it's been very successful. And please go out and buy them for kids. It's amazing. You're teaching 5 to 8-year-olds Six Sigma way of thinking. Now, there's another group from 9 to 13-year-old, 9 to 12, right in that age group. And Cathy and I are thinking that we will probably write a comic book series for them. Okay, and so that's going to be one of our next projects. But we just got done with the Bentley series, and it's been absolutely amazing. So the Great Discovery course, guys, and the Great Discovery teams is on the platform. It was the very first course put up. If you have the Course Creator Pro Pack or the Affiliate Success Pack, you have the Great Discovery in your My Learning courses. You have it at your fingertips. All you have to do is open it and start using it, and your odds of success will increase in anything that you do, and you will learn the Six Sigma way of thinking, and you won't go back to your old way. It is a second order change, and it's extremely powerful. So I thank you. And now Cathy's going to come up, and she's going to show you guys how the Great Discovery can be applied and some things that you can do with it. So let me get my bar back over here. There we go. And Cathy, I will hand it over to you.
Thanks, Sandra. I'm going to go to Raymond. He's had his hand up from the beginning. So do you have a comment or a question, Raymond? And then we'll get going. And you're
No,
on mute.
it's a by mistake. Sorry about that.
I just want to ignore you if you had a question or something. So okay, well then let me move on. Yeah, so as Sandra said, I actually got to read the Bill Smith paper at Motorola, and I got to work with Michael. He was in the group that I was in, and when the whole thing started, I was like one of the first that raised my hand and said, please sign me up. I want to be part of this. So that was how I became one of the first Six Sigma black belts, because it was so trailblazing and so new and just lots of fun. So many great stories we could spend talking about. And so many times people would say to me when I was working with a team, you know, we studied this process for a long time. I'm not sure what you think you're going to be able to do with Six Sigma. And then 3 or 4 months later, they're like, as we broke through, you know, the barriers and raised the performance of the process to something close to Six Sigma, if not Six Sigma, they were blown away. It's like, wow, I never thought we would achieve this. And I heard that over and over and over again. And I also heard it with people who had big life dreams. They'd be like, I've tried to go for this dream over and over again. I don't think I can do it. And then they started with the Great Discovery. And a few months later, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing something that I never thought was possible. So when we say it's a proven process, we're not kidding. We've got, you know, hundreds and thousands, well, thousands of business process projects and hundreds and maybe thousands of people who have benefited from Six Sigma and the Great Discovery. We know it works. And that is the primary reason why if you have a course creator pro pack or an affiliate success pack, that course is in there. We want you to go through the course and apply it to whatever it is you want to accomplish so that you can realize that same success. There's nothing you can't accomplish if you put your mind to it. Change the way you think by going and immersing yourself in the Great Discovery. As Sandra said, it's a second order change. That means you cannot go back to thinking the way you used to once you do this. First order change is something like this. If you ever have had the experience of like doing something, trying something, and it worked maybe for a little bit, but then over time you went back to things the way they were. Like, for example, maybe you tried losing weight and you lost some weight, and then maybe time went on and that weight found its way back to you, and then you lost it again, and then a few months later it came back. That's a first order change. You made a change, but it didn't stick. But a second order change means that you don't go back to the way you were before. And that's what happens when you do the Great Discovery. It changes the way you think, and you can't go back to thinking the same way as you did before. So it's really powerful. And that's why we want, all of our affiliates, all of our course creators, and all of our learners to just immerse themselves in it, because what you can create is nothing short of, fantastic. And we want that for all of you. So I'm going to share my screen now. I have been offering this concierge program just about since November. So I want you to pay attention to that time, because that's just 5 months ago we got started with this. And people come to the concierge program Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And the premise of it is, look, there's so much you can do on our platform, so many things as a course creator, putting your courses up, designing your course funnel, as an affiliate, getting engaged, creating your customer funnels and your marketing plans and all that. So many different things that you can do and probably need to do. The question is, what's the next thing to do? It can almost be overwhelming. And so we come and we talk and we discuss some different things. But I'm here to tell you, especially after you just heard Sandra talk about the Great Discovery, you would not need this program if you just did the Great Discovery course, because it will lay out for you everything that you need to know and tell you what your next step is. So let me quickly kind of go through that. This is the proven path that Sandra talked about. This is what Michael envisioned and then worked on to bring into reality the Great Discovery course. And we teach it to you starting in the upper right hand corner, and we move across the top path of innovation. And what does that mean? It means that you are visualizing and dreaming. You are thinking about your end state. You're thinking about what you want to accomplish. You're thinking about a big life dream or a mission. And you know what? You're doing that in alignment with your values. So if I go back to Motorola as an example, and I can map Six Sigma right onto this. So Bob Galvin, as the CEO, realized, as Sandra said, they were about to go out of business in a few years. They were losing money, primarily because their quality was poor and customers were not happy. So their mission was to stay in business and be profitable. And the core values that Bob Galvin had for Motorola were just two. He had total customer satisfaction and constant respect for people. So he had this driving need to satisfy customers, but at the same time, make sure that his employees were respected and had jobs that brought them fulfillment. So marrying those together, staying in business, keeping his employees employed, and satisfying customers took on that little bubble that you see at the right-hand side, the mission and the values. And then the catalyst, which is a big goal, basically, that's what it means, turned out to be Six Sigma. In fact, it was such a big goal, nobody knew how to do it, other than Michael Harry, who had the logic filters. Nobody else knew how to do this, really. And so this was a giant, giant big goal. That's why, so if you come to coaching with me, I will always push you to dream big, because I believe in it. I know it works. And Motorola chose to go with a very, very big dream of Six Sigma, and they accomplished amazing things. I say this all the time when I see how this turned out. Bob Galvin might have chosen to go with something a little less big than Six Sigma. He could have chosen to go for Four Sigma because the company itself was somewhere around Two Sigma. Now, you don't even need to know what the numbers mean, just it's big change. But at Four Sigma, he could have chosen that. And I promise you, I absolutely guarantee this, that if he had chosen Four Sigma and that had been what Motorola achieved, none of us today would be sitting here talking, because Four Sigma just wasn't that impressive. And as 40 years has shown us, Four Sigma is what average companies are able to produce. So if you're an average company making a little bit of money, you're probably operating somewhere between 3.5 and Four Sigma. World-class companies are Six Sigma. That's what Six Sigma was, world-class. And so when we translate that back to people and their dreams, what's your world-class life dream? For your work, for your relationships, for yourself. That's what we can teach you, and that's what we can help you realize with the Great Discovery Proven Path. This is what it looks like. And so we take you through it. You state your mission, and you can have so many different life dreams and missions. You're not, you don't have to have just one. You should have many, but we take you through it with one. And I've got this one here about growing your business. Most of you are on here because you are trying to grow your affiliate business or your course creator business or both. So why not put this to work for yourself? Remember, one of the top 10 business innovations of the last 150 years, that's huge. 150 years ago was 1875. So think about everything that's happened in that last 150 years. And we're here today with something that's one of the top 10 things that improve business. Okay, so right there, if you're trying to grow your business, this should be the tool you're using. So you start off with your mission and your values, and then you're going to set your catalyst, your goal. Now, Six Sigma, because it was so new and trailblazing, we set that goal and had it for 5 years. But I'm here to tell you that most of you can achieve amazing things in 6 months. And that's why I wanted you to remember the date, Concierge Program. I started it in November. That was 5 months ago. If you had started doing this on day one, you'd be 5 months into achieving your catalyst in 6 months, a big goal. So for many of you, it could be something like, hey, I wanna earn $20,000 a month in the Great Discovery. Hey, I wanna have a downline of 5,000 people in 6 months. Let me tell you, those are big dreams. Maybe right now you're sitting here thinking, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Then you're right where you need to be. That's what Six Sigma was. Hey, we didn't know how we were going to do it either, but we did. And we've got the process now, and I know you can do it as well. So you set your catalyst, whatever that really big goal is. And when you set that goal, if it doesn't make you feel just a little bit scared, then you haven't set it big enough. Go a little bit bigger, because you know what? The bigger you dream, the more you can accomplish. And then we take you down how to set out these milestones. It's really just the path. What are the things you need to do from your starting point to get to that catalyst? It's a variety of things. We only show 2 of them here. It's more like 4 or 5 milestones. And in fact, here's a look under the hood for business mastery. What are the kinds of things that a person needs to think about in terms of growing their business? Well, you know what? On our platform, we have that wonderful new AI Genius Club, which is filled with AI tools that you can master. AI is huge and getting huger all the time. And so as a business owner, knowing something about how AI can work for you is probably a skill you need to master. But we step back from that. As a business owner, you also need to have something very simple like a business plan. Why are you in business? What do you do? And what do you offer? How do you know about your finances? Do you understand where you're spending your money that are business expenses and how you're going to get a return on that money from the income that you get, when you're likely to get it, how much you're likely to get? That's a financial plan. Do you have one of those? And a marketing plan. There's so many really great marketing learning opportunities on the Great Discovery between what James does and Bree and Ron I Will and Alex Hitt. There's so many people out there that are offering you the opportunity to market your business. Are you taking advantage of that? And how does that fit in your proven path? And then there's a lot of other things like, do you have a signature brand? I always point to Dr. Breakthrough on that. Everybody knows Dr. Breakthrough. That's his brand. What's your brand? How do we know, who you are? What sets you apart? And you know what? We've got an amazing number of business SMEs, subject matter experts, That's where all of our courses on our platform, pretty much everybody that puts a course out there is a subject matter expert in that course. Who are the ones you need to partner with and learn from and engage with and help promote your business? Some of you might be doing a day job and you want to transition from your day job out of that, quit your day job and just be a business owner. What does that transition plan look like? That could be a milestone for you. And I always tell people when they're engaging in the Great Discovery that you need to have a work-life balance. You know, it's not all work. And if you procrastinate, then it's not going to even materialize. So where's the right balance between putting your energy into the work you're doing and the rest of your life? So those are just some examples. There may be others that you need. Like if you're a course creator, you might need to have a milestone up there around developing your courses and the strategy for the free level, the genius level, the premium, and the academy. That might be a milestone. Or there may be some things up here that I've listed that don't apply to you. The point is that you take what matters for you, for your path, for your starting point, where you need to go to get to your catalyst, and you build that proven path. Then what we do is we take you through what we call forces, because inevitably you're going to hit a wall. Because if you didn't, if it was really easy, we know you'd have done it already. That's what happened with Six Sigma. There was so much we didn't know. We hit a lot of walls, got bruised from hitting a lot of walls. So this step helps you identify where those walls are, where those obstacles are, and how you're going to break through them. And so this is really key to the whole thing. And it is one of the core success factors of Six Sigma. This is what made Six Sigma is understanding these forces, understanding where you're being held back, which we call restraining forces, and what you can do to move forward, which we call driving forces. And by the way, as we show the diagram here, if they are balanced like this, you're not going anywhere, because what's holding you back is equal to what's moving you forward. What you got to do is you got to change the arrows so that the driving force is bigger than the restraining force, so you make forward momentum. And we show you how to do that in this course. And finally, once you've got all this, it boils down to an action plan. And all you have to do at that point is execute on those actions. Take those actions every day, move forward, and you eventually go down this path at the bottom and you are at your catalyst and you are living your mission. So this is it. Just at a glance, this is very high level. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot you got to do to change the way you think about things. And we give you those opportunities throughout the course. We have lots of different ways for you to learn and engage and really master this material, including working with coaches. We have a wonderful coaching staff because we know that for most people, every now and then you're going to need to talk to somebody about what you're doing and how you're doing it and get perspective. And that's what our coaches are there for, to help you, answer your questions, maybe point your vision in a slightly different way so you can think about what you're doing differently, and really help you engage and break through whatever struggles you're having at that moment in time. So it's all there for you. And I just, I know I speak for Sandra, please engage in this, because this will help you. This will exponentially increase your odds of success. And it's part of your package for a reason. We want you to be successful. We want you to do this because that's our mission. We're trying to empower humanity. And this is the key to doing that. So, all right, I preached enough. I'll stop now. So let's see, are we going to go back to Tim now, or should we take some questions?
She's going to go back to Tim if he's there. Tim?
I am here. Great job. That was really clear. And I love the way that you laid out that pathway, Dr. Cathy. That's fantastic. What I want to do is I'm going to go through a couple of things real quick, some information of other things that are coming up tonight and also this week. And then we'll take some time for Q&A if anybody wants to stay around. I hope you guys found this valuable. Put a 10 in the chat box if you love the information that's there. A lot of people really don't have a clue where the Great Discovery came from. It's just another e-learning platform. No, it's not. There's a lot more to it than that. So thank you, ladies, for a great job on sharing that vital information. It really is empowering. So let's do a quick walkthrough on a few different things here. First thing is, as we're going into this little session here, I just wanted to share some of the things that are coming up, and I'm going to start with a global networking event that's going to be tomorrow. Part of the empowerment of humanity is connecting humanity together, allowing people, our focus on AI, a good portion of it is simply enhancing communication, enabling people from different languages and cultures to connect and speak and communicate and do business with people from other languages and cultures without having an interpreter in the middle. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're starting a series of live networking events. Next one is tomorrow. Forgive the typo. It's going to be March 13th, this Thursday, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, this session is going to be 2 hours long. It's not a pitch fest. We're not going to be selling anything there. It's a networking event where you're able to go in. You'll be able to hear and take some time to tell a little bit about yourself to the entire group. We'll have breakout sessions. And as these events grow, you'll be hearing from other people around the world and communicating with them. If you had somebody that spoke Russian in your networking group and in your breakout session, you're actually able to talk back and forth with our live language translation. Now there's a link to invite others. That's very simple. It's thegreatdiscovery.com. You can go up on your greatdiscovery.com website. You're going to see a nice big glowing orb at the top. You can click on that and copy that link. That will send your viewers, your guests onto your platform to join into that Zoom. So they're right with you. You know who you've invited, who's attended, and you're able to follow up with them. These are great events to be able to connect and meet other like-minded people and around the world that you haven't ever met. Could be a good way to build your business, build your reputation, just build friendships. That's going to be on there. Now, the reason I put that up first is because as we're going into promos, we've got two big promotions that are on. One is the March Momentum promotion. Momentum comes from exposure. It's from massive action. Success loves speed. And one of the best ways to do that is draw more people in to be able to hear and be exposed to the Great Discovery community. They don't need to learn about the learning right away. They're bringing in to be able to network and expand their own interests at this particular point. So the March Momentum rewards are based on this. We have on the AI Genius Club a new tool that's basically, it is using a networking event using the AI Genius promo app. It's a promo funnel that's focused just on this. Those of you that have the AI Genius Club have this promo app. Now, those of you that do, if you went through the boot camp last Saturday, you got a clear and concise vision of exactly how to leverage it. Here's the way it works. Put your promos out there, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or email or text or sending these links out. If you get 30 registrations per week, what you're going to get on this is automatically double commissions on any new sales that you make that week. So instead of $1,000, you make $2,000. And instead of $2,000, you make $4,000. Whatever it is, double your commissions for the week. Moreover, you can actually earn up to triple. So we're also running a campaign. So in the campaign is, of those that qualify with 30 referrals, you're going to get an extra 10% on your new sales for the first one with the most amount of sales for that each given week. Get an extra 7% for those that have on new sales in the second place, and an extra 5% on new sales for those in third place. These are on top of each other. They're stackable, right? So they're continuing to increase. That adds up to triple. But wait, there's more. Many of you know that the Great Discovery Creator Pro Pack, which we launched in phase 2 when we started last March, has unlimited course creation. You can put on as many courses as you want, no annual fees, no hidden costs. There's nobody in the industry that has anything like it. We did this for one reason. It is a grandfathered pack for those that opted in. You can put up courses 10 years from now, you'll never be charged. No storage, no bandwidth cost, no nothing, right? And this is going to be discontinued on April 1st. So we're going to be shifting into a different model. Unlimited course creation ends for early adopters on April 1st, but as long as anybody signs up before April 1st, you keep that forever. So it is it is a very valuable option. You know, since then we brought on 2,500 different courses on or in process, dozens coming on nearly every day now. It's beginning to get where we need to go, and we're moving into phase 3, a whole different phase of growth. So what we're doing for you right now is from March 9th to April 1st, you're going to get double direct sales commissions on all Pro Pack sales. So whatever you're going to make on a Pro Pack sale, you're going to get double commissions on it. If you get 3 or more Pro Pack sales, that's triple commissions. Now, guess what? Here's the interesting part. That also stacks on the other ones. That could be up to 6 times your commissions if you hit the top and manage it each week going through there. That is a massive payout. Why are we doing this? Well, one, we want to give an opportunity for other creators to take advantage of this unlimited option before it goes away, so you can take care of that and help and reward you to get off to good momentum. This is March momentum. That's what it's all about. As we're moving into April, everything is going to shift. All of our focus is going to start going much more into creators, much more into drawing in super affiliates and people around that world that really want to promote course content to consumers, right? That's really what it's all about. The creators are continuing to come in. They'll continue to scale. We've started that momentum going on it gradual, and it's going to continue to snowball. So that's up right now. Now, coming up tonight, right after this, at the top of the hour, we've got a new course spotlight. New course spotlight is an option for every creator that has the option to come up and reserve a new course spotlight spot, get a good recording of your intro to your course, have live viewers. It's a great way to get exposure to new affiliates and super affiliates that are seeing your content. They learn about you to be able to get you out and promote you. So whether there's a big group of people or a smaller group of people, you've got a great recording that is going to be showcased, and it gets your recognition and reputation out among the affiliates that are going to be leading the charge around the world. So tonight's new course spotlight is going to be by Jesse Perez, and it's career transition training. Now, if this isn't a good time for career transition training, or you don't think it's a good time, talk to a few people in Washington, D.C. Imagine people, professionals, they're educated, they've studied, maybe their life goal was to be a government civil servant and working on a nice, cushy, stay-at-home job and getting paid a great resource and great benefits and everything else, and poof, it's gone. It's not just them. Service industry worldwide is going to see major shifts with the deployment and continued advancement of AI. Major shifts. We're talking people that have had a career most of their adult lives and have been locked into it. That is their bread and butter, gone in a matter of overnight. It's going to change. Is it a bad thing? No, you got to upskill, reskill, adapt. It's career transition training. So right here tonight at the top of the hour, Jesse Perez is going to go through an intro to some of her information on her. This is going to be a top seller, guys. Get familiar with what she's got going on, and you're going to love being able to find out. If you want to get your course up on the Spotlight, we do it every Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be adding nights as we start scaling. We'll be doing it around the world in other languages as well. You can go log in, and on the creator panel at the bottom, there is a link that says register for a new course spotlight. Pick an available date and time, and you're going to be all set and ready to go, and you'll be up next. Right after that, now, if you heard what I was saying about the course creator option, and you're just on here for the first time watching this live or by replay, there is a course creator overview tonight that talks about the great discovery from the course creator perspective, the benefits, the global reach, the access to the tools and things that you've got, people promoting your content for you in up to 200 countries and territories and over 147 languages. There's nothing like it on the planet in this industry, period. And you can find out about that right here, same bat time, same bat channel, well, different bat time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on tgdmeet.com. So that is going to be coming up here. So that wraps up our announcements for tonight. But we went through a lot of information. I know Dr. Cathy and Sandra had some great information that's coming up. If anybody has any questions, this is a good time to ask them. And also you got to ask Joyce Christie why she looks so young and vibrant when she is like 25 years old. She doesn't even look her age. It's crazy. But any hands up that are down there, you can go ahead and put your hand up and or wave or jump up and down or dance on your tabletop will work. Anything to get our attention, or just start speaking if nobody else is, and we'll listen. Bentley the dog is out there. He heard his name being spoken of.
So Tim, while we're waiting for people to ask questions, I put in the chat box, if you guys want to participate in the extra bonuses for inviting people and getting them to register for a weekly networking event, I put a link where you can get a free funnel. And this is how we're tracking how many registrations that you get to these meetings. I tell you, I've worked with companies worldwide for decades and decades. I've never seen anybody as generous as Tim and Sandra, who are willing to pay you extra just to get people to register for a networking event. So please take advantage of this. It's very important. That networking event that we're having tomorrow and every Thursday at the same time, we're already converting people into Genius Club memberships, into course purchasers, customers, and affiliates and course creators. So get people to this event. It's a powerful event. It gives companies an opportunity to share about their business. And then when they see what we have to offer at the Great Discovery, many of them are wanting to take part in it. So get people to this event.
Hey, Sandra, I have to step outside just for a minute. I'll be right back, but go ahead and take the room.
Got it. All right, Ed's got his hand up.
Yeah, Sandra, just wanted to find out the link to purchase the books for the kids. I try to shop as a broken link. Can you is there another route to go? I just want to make sure so I could share. Definitely want to share this with our church group and different people. And
Yeah, let me go. I'll check it out, Ed. It was not. I was just in there the other day and it was working, but let's see.
when you click shop, when you click on order now, maybe it's the bottom one. Maybe shop books works. Let me see.
Not sure.
I was under like buy products and it was, but
Yeah, hold on. I gotta get. I'm not in the right place.
I'm on the tgdkids.com with my affiliate ID. Is that the right place?
No. You don't want to go to that's. We haven't integrated that into the website yet. You want to go.
It's on the it's on the footer, by the way. That's why I clicked on it. So.
Oh, got it. Yes.
So we're okay. So there's another place I can go to get it. Okay. So
I'll get it for you here. Just one second. Oh,
I got it under books. Okay. I got it. Let's see here. Okay. Great.
Yeah, there you go. Books. They'll take you right there.
Okay.
There you go. So books 1, 2, and 3 are on the site, and we've got the combo packs and everything. The workbook separate, the book separate, and then 4 and 5 will be going up here pretty soon. We'll be adding those. We just got those back into inventory, and then 5, like I said, book 6, I'm sorry, is just going to print. So
can you share your screen and just show people where that is?
oh yeah, I sure can.
Yeah, that would be good.
Absolutely. So if you go to courses right here, and here's shop products, okay? And so there's books right here. And if you click on books, then it will take you right here. And you can get the different, so Bentley's Treasure. And the sequence is book 1 is Dream, Bentley's Dream, and then Bentley's Treasure. So this is what Cathy talked about in that first stage, where you're going to dream really big and learn how to dream. And then Treasure is the next book. And that is Bentley identifying his core values, his intrinsic core values. And so to the children, we called it their treasures, so they would relate to it. And then Bentley's Purpose is where he starts to set out what is his catalyst. So that's the analogy that for the first 3 books, how we're walking the children through it.
Cool.
So
Awesome. Can you share your, if we have time, your path and your milestones that you guys are trying to accomplish with this series? Like what are some of the goals that you guys are having, like future casting, to make this, I guess, more accessible, more palatable, and
Yeah.
obviously,
So
yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole Bentley series, what the plan is with Bentley series is we got to get the 6 books written, got to get those done. We also have the workbooks, so they're lesson plans. So we want to really get them in front of homeschooling markets. I think they'd be great for homeschooling parents. We are doing a pilot in a school, a grade school in Indiana, and it's pretty close to where Michael was raised, which is pretty cool. And we are really not going after the public education system because it's very difficult to get into. There's no money. But what we are doing is we're gathering data. We took several classes through the whole series. We're taking them through the whole series. We donated all the books. So we're gathering data on that so that we can better equip ourselves to approach other markets like homeschoolers. The other thing we want to do is we want to build a whole online platform for just the kids. And maybe it'll be Bentley's World, maybe it'll be, I don't know yet. We don't have it sketched out yet, but I want a portal where the kids can go on, learn the Six Sigma way of thinking through, Bentley and his adventures. Maybe it's him traveling the world and using the Six Sigma way of thinking to work through, how he gets places and things that come up in his life or whatever it is. We want to fill the gap. We've got the teen program, which is very similar to the Great Discovery International course. We just tailored it to the teens. And then we want to come up with, I believe we're going to use a comic book series for the 9 to 12-year-olds is what we're thinking. So that will be our next adventure. So
Hey, Sandra, we are at the top of the hour. I know you're on a roll there, but we do need to shift over and keep on time. Timeliness is next to success. So we're going to jump